webinar on DRAVYANUSANDHANA, organized by Yenepoya University in collaboration with Association of British Scholar, Mangalore Chapter. Myself, Dr. Arundi, Assistant Professor, Department of Dravyaguna, Yenepoya Ayurvedic Medical College. In recent days, there has been great demand for plant-derived products in developed countries. So today, we are conducting an international webinar, DRAVYANUSANDHANA, which aims for the research in plant. Today, we are discussing about herbal drug technologies, which is required for scientific validation and periodic monitoring of the quantity and quality and efficacy of the drugs. I wholeheartedly welcome all for today's webinar and dignitaries for the inauguration of the webinar. Now I kindly request Dr. K.R. Chandrasekhar, scientist, Yenepoya University, for the welcome speech.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible to you, sirs? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody, once again. At the outset, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to this international webinar being hosted by Yenepoya Ayurvedic Medical College, Yenepoya Dept of University, Deralakatte, Mangalore, jointly organized with the Association of British Scholars, Mangalore Chapter. My dear friends, as you know very well, Yenepoya Dept of University is a fairly young university which has been established just a decade back, but has been able to do its achievements on for excellence because of its dedication in academics. It has been able to reach to the level of one of the topmost universities in the country. So much so, the Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College, just it's 3 years over, but it has been doing very good with regard to organizing the seminars, conferences, etc. in the last pandemic COVID-19 period. The Association of British Scholars, established involving the scientists, those who had gone abroad, particularly the Commonwealth countries, got the training in their higher education, came back in India, and back in home established Association of British Scholars, Mangalore Chapter. I think somewhere around 1990s, the Association of British Scholars, Mangalore Chapter was initiated. Since then, it has been involved in organizing seminars, workshops, conferences, disseminating the knowledge in higher education in the institutions of higher learning. We have with us today the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Yenepoya Dept of University for the second term, also a known onco-surgeon in the country, well-known reputed onco-surgeon in the country, to inaugurate the international webinar. Dr. Professor Vijay Kumar has been a backbone in all the activities of the Yenepoya Dept University, a good administrator, a silent supporter, and able administrator to support all the activities of the Yenepoya Dept University. On behalf of all of us gathered for the international webinar, I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. We have also with us the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Shripati Rao, also for this international webinar. I extend a warm welcome to Professor Shripati Rao, Pro Vice Chancellor of Yenepoya Dept University.
Thank you very much.
We have another outstanding personality, the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, Professor P.S. Edapaditaya, an educationist, thinker by practice, a commerce graduate, and established himself in the fields of management, human resources development, taxation, etc. So with his visionary views, he has the plans to elevate Mangalore University into greater heights and to find a place in the academic map of the country. I extend a warm welcome to Professor P.S. Edapaditaya, who is going to give his special address, deliver his special address in this August seminar session. Uh, Professor P.S. Edapaditaya is also the president of Association of British Scholars, Mangalore chapter. I welcome Professor P.S. Edapaditaya to this uh, international webinar. We have a couple of renowned scientists with us to deliver the special lectures. Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki hails from Mulki of Dakshina Kannada district, has been in America for the last 40 years. Dr. Nagabhushan spent his lifetime in research on the aspects related to curcuma and its effect or its role, its significance in human health. He is going to share all his views, thoughts about curcuma and its influence in human health to all of us. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki, who is joining from Illinois, CNS, USA. I welcome Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki. I know and I'm aware, Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki, we have made you to wake up in the midnight and requested you to join us for this August gathering. I thank you very much. Especially, thank you very much for waking up in the midnight and joining us. I welcome you once again, sir. We have in the midst of us yet another distinguished scientist, Professor K.A. Ravish, who was the professor of botany department of botany, and also the former head of the department of botany, University of Mysore. Presently working as a professor and also heading the department for Faculty of Life Sciences, JSS Academy of Higher Education. Professor K.A. Ravish has developed of late the passion towards medicinal plants research and dissemination of its knowledge to those who are interested, either by delivering the lecture or writing the articles in the science magazines. Professor Ravish, I extend a warm welcome to you to this international webinar. Professor
Thank
Ravish,
you.
I welcome you to this gathering.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we have with us the principal of Ayurveda Medical College, Dr. Guru Raj Rao, and his team, who has shown keen interest in organizing this international webinar for the benefit of the students of Ayurveda, researchers, and all those who are matters in and care for the human health. I extend a warm welcome to the Principal Guru Raj Rao and his team to this international webinar. And finally, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you, my dear delegates. I think it's numbering more than 55 right now. I think many more would like to join. Dr. Kishori from Mangalore University is also joining us, who happens to be the ex-vice chancellor of Mangalore University and the presently director of IQAC. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Kishori Naik. I once again extend a warm welcome to all of you, and I hope that this session is going to be a fruitful session to all those who have gathered here to witness the two lectures to be delivered by renowned scientists. I wish let the two sessions be fruitful to all of you and go home with a message that medicinal plants are very important for human health. I wish you all the best once again to all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I request Dr. Sridhar Gokhale, Vice Principal, Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College, to introduce about today's webinar.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected speakers, respected Chandrasekhar, Dr. K.R. Chandrasekhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Yenepoya deemed to be University, Dr. M. Vijay Kumar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor P.S. Edapaditaya of Mangalore University, and Pro Vice Chancellor of Yenepoya Deemed to be University, Dr. Shripati Rao. Today, the word meaning of Dravya Anusandhana, which is a Sanskrit term in Ayurveda, refers to the research on medicinal plants. As you know this, nowadays people are turning towards the nature and they are more looking towards the natural well-being. So, which is a need of our at the present pandemic condition and also in the future. So we don't know the future. So in the future, it is the more important thing. So for this, today we have the two eminent speakers, Dr. Ravish K, Professor and the Head Department of Water and Health, JSS Academy of Higher Education, Mysore, is going to deal a topic on herbal drug technology, prospectus and problems. So this is the topic what the doctor is going to deal on. And the session second is by Dr. Nagbhushan Mulki from USA, dealing on tradition and science, health benefits and turmeric. So sir is going to deal on these two topics. So hope this webinar brings benefit for the student, PG scholars, academician to think as a research for the benefit of the mankind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is our immense pleasure to have Dr. Shripati Rao, Pro Vice Chancellor, Yenepoya Dept to be University with us. Sir, I kindly request you to render the inaugural speech. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to each and every one of you. I am Dr. Shripati Rao, the Pro Vice Chancellor. Actually, Dr. Vijay Kumar, the Vice Chancellor, was supposed to inaugurate the function, but because of some emergency surgical procedure, he had to move to the theatre. So he asked me to conduct this. So I consider it a great privilege and honor to inaugurate the session. And I'm very happy that the Yenepoya Ayurvedic Medical College, very periodically, they are conducting many webinar programs. Though it's only 3 years old, under the leadership of Dr. Gururaj and his team, they are doing very active scientific programs. I would like to first of all congratulate them on behalf of the Yenepoya University, and also I would like to thank the Association of British Scholars for conjointly organizing this webinar program for the benefit of the public. I also would like to specially welcome the chief guest of today's function, Professor P.S. Edi Paditaya, our Vice Chancellor of the Mangalore University. Sir, on behalf of the Yenepoya University, I take great pleasure in welcoming you once again for this program. Also would like to especially mention the two guest faculty, Dr. Ravish and Dr. Nagbhushan Mulki, who are consented to be the faculty for today's webinar. Dr. Nagbhushan, I have a question for you. Do you belong to Mulki proper in Dakshina Kannada? Hello? Dr. Nagbhushan, can you hear? Do you belong to Mulki from near Mangalore? I think I am not audible to him.
No,
Hello?
I can hear. Mine was mute.
Hello? Do you belong to Mulki, which is close to Mangalore?
No, our ancestors were there, so we keep
Okay, your
that
answer,
name.
because I belong to the same town. That's why I was wondering. You
It is
know
a
about
Mantradi.
Mulki. Okay.
It is a Mantradi near in the
Okay,
Mulki.
Mantradi, I know the place. Because I belong to Mulki actually. So I was
Because I have
wondering
not
whether you,
gone there.
okay, you're not familiar with that. Fine. Anyway, I also
No,
belong
Mulki
to
I
a
have
family.
gone.
I see. Okay. I also belong to a family of Ayurveda actually. So I'm used to this Ayurvedic medicine from my childhood, because my grandfather and father were practicing Ayurveda at home. So I know the process of preparing Ayurvedic medicine. I keep telling my colleagues that it's high time that now we have to do research in the field of Ayurveda, because we are using so many medicinal plants without knowing the actual its effectiveness. I remember that when they prepare some medicinal product in my hometown, they used to mix at least 25 to 30 ingredients to it to prepare without actually knowing which is the most effective one, because those days the research was lacking. Now that the institutions are coming up with the research centers, I think it's high time for all of us to do thorough research and find out which is the effective part in those ingredients. So I don't want to speak much, because people are waiting to listen to both the speakers. I once again welcome all of you, and I take great pleasure in inaugurating the today's webinar on Dravyanusandhana. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for the inspirational words. We are truly grateful to have today's eminent chief guest, Professor P.S. Yenepoya, Vice Chancellor, Mangalore University. Now I request Chief Guest to enlighten us with his word.
Good morning to everyone. I am extremely delighted to note that Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, a constituent college of Yenepoya, deemed to be university, the Department of Dravyaguna, in collaboration with the Association of British Scholars Mangalore Chapter, is organizing the international webinar on Dravyanusandhana. Today, esteemed inaugurator, Dr. N. Vijay Kumar, the Vice Chancellor of Yenepoya, deemed to be university, the distinguished guest speakers, Dr. Ravisha K. Professor and Head, Department of Water and Health, JSS Academy of Higher Education, Mysore, and Dr. Nagbhushan Mulki, then the Registrar of Yenepoya, deemed to be university, Dr. Gangadhar Somayaji, Dr. Gurraj H, Principal, YAMCH, and our Secretary, ABS, Dr. K.R. Chandrasekhar, learned delegates, special invitees, ladies and gentlemen. In the fitness of things, I deem it a great honor to be the chief guest for the international webinar on Dravyanusandhana, being organized by the prestigious institution Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, in collaboration with the Association of British Scholars Mangalore Chapter. At the very outset, I congratulate the organizers for making this event happen on a very important theme. The COVID-19 pandemic taught us many lessons despite its negative inputs and impacts on many aspects. One of the important lessons learned in how important it is to maintain good health to protect ourselves against pathogens like coronavirus. Ayurveda, the science of life, originated in India more than 5,000 years ago and is recognized as mother of all healing. It stems from the ancient Vedic culture and was taught for many thousands of years in an oral tradition from accomplished masters to their disciples. Unlike other medicinal systems of Western origin, Ayurveda does not focus on disease. Rather, it teaches that all life must be supported by the energy imbalance. When there is minimal stress and the flow of energy within is balanced, the body's natural defense systems will be strong and can more easily defend against disease. In this respect, it is well witnessed the important role played by Ayurveda our own rich heritage of medicinal system, both as a solution and prevention of various health problems, including COVID-19. Ayurveda strongly believes in the philosophy of prevention is always better than cure. Therefore, Ayurveda focuses more on prevention rather than curing.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening words.
Ayurveda is considered to be one of the most ancient and well-documented systems of medicine that are equally relevant in modern times. Ayurveda, that mainly uses herbs and spices, is considered to be a pivotal role in enhancing the body's natural defense system. As I understand, 5 Ayurvedic herbs and spices that can naturally boost our immune system and help reduce the risk of COVID-19 pandemic are Brahmi, Ashwagandha, Tulsi, Neem and Turmeric. The theme of the webinar, DRAVYANUSANDHANA, is very interesting and reliable in the present scenario of various health issues. For laymen, the word looks very strange, but it is very simple and important to understand in our day-to-day life. Dravya means a Sanskrit word, literally translates to substance. Anu means to follow. Sandhana means appropriate knowledge. Therefore, every prescription should be evidence-based and research-informed. Today we talk about evidence-based medical practice, evidence-based nursing practice, research-informed medical practice, research-informed nursing practice. That is the case. So when we talk about substances of natural origins, particularly from plant sources, have great medicinal properties. Research on herbal medicines gain special attractions worldwide in view of their minimal side effects and potential therapeutic values. DRAVYANUSANDHANA, an excellent theme that was chosen for the today's international webinar, and I am sure it will give a great opportunity to all the participants of this webinar in understanding its importance in the present technological era, covering the topics such as herbal drug technology, tradition and science, and health benefits of turmeric. I wish the resource persons all the best for the deliberations and fruitful participation to all the delegates registered for this international webinar across the world. I especially thank the organizers for the opportunity given to the Association of British Scholars Mangalore chapter to be associated with this important event. With this brief note, I once again wish this international webinar a grand success and my advance wishes of Happy New Year 2021 to all of you. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Asha, Associate Professor, Department of Review, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Arun. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected dignitaries and dear participants, I, Dr. Asha Maradka, Associate Professor, Department of Dravyaguna, Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College, feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Vice Chancellor and Registrar, Yenepoya deemed to be University, and Association of British Scholars, Mangalore Chapter. I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Shripati Rao, Honorable Pro-Vice Chancellor, Yenepoya deemed to be University, for his inaugural speech and encouraging words. I am very grateful to our chief guest, Professor P.S. Edapadithaya, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mangalore University, for his gracious presence. A special mention to our principal, Dr. Guru Raja H., being the catalyst that inspired us to do our best. I take this opportunity to specially express my gratitude to Dr. Chandrasekhar, Sir, Secretary ABS, Scientist, Yenepoya deemed to be University, for encouraging us and rendering an opportunity to organize this event. My heartfelt thanks to our Vice Principal, Dr. Sridhar M. Gokhale, who is exceptionally helpful in all our academic activities. We are grateful to the speakers of today's webinar, Dr. Ravisha K.A. and Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki, for taking time from their busy schedule and will be enlightening us regarding the drug technologies and health benefits of turmeric. I would like to extend my thanks to our MS, Dr. Lakshmisha Upadhyay, for his constant support and guidance. I also thank Dr. Raghuveer sir, former Pro Vice Chancellor, Yenepoya Dept of University, for joining us. We have been fortunate enough to be supported by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues. Thank you all. My special thanks to Dr. Arundeep, Dr. Shubhada VI, Dr. Akshata Bhatt, and Dr. Atulya for their kind cooperation. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who are present today with us to attend this webinar with great enthusiasm. Last but not surely the least, I thank Mr. Tamim for all his technical support. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, madam. Now we'll begin the session. So that please put your queries and suggestions in the chat box. It will be discussed at the end of the second session. And feedback link will be sent to the respective mail IDs to get an e-certificate. So first session, Herbal Drug Technology, Prospects and Problems by Dr. Ravisha K. I request Dr. Shubhada VI, Professor, HOD, Department of Shalyatandra, to introduce guest speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Arundeep. It's my proud privilege to introduce Professor K. A. Ravisha. Professor K. A. Ravisha, former Director, IQAC, University of Mysore, and former Professor and Chairman, Department of Studies in Botany, University of Mysore, has more than 34 years of PG teaching and research experience. Currently, Sir is the Professor and Head, Faculty of Life Sciences at JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research. He is trained NAC assessor. As a part of NAC peer team, he has assessed and accredited many colleges and universities. He has successfully completed many major research projects funded by AICTE, UGC, DST, and other national funding agencies. He established Center for Innovative Studies in Herbal Drug Technology for research and training with funding from AICTE and VGST, Government of Karnataka. He has successfully guided 19 students for PhD and has published 128 research papers in national and international journal with 3,093 citations with H-index 29 and I-10 index of 50. On invitation, he wrote a major chapter, Antimicrobials of Plant Origin, in the book Natural Products for Plant Protection, published by CAB International, UK. He has served on the editorial committee of Archives of Phytopathology and Plant Protection, published by Taylor and Francis, UK. He was actively associated the introduction and designing of the curriculum of PG courses under CBCS Patronate, University of Mysore. He was responsible for the curriculum development, introduction, and sustenance of MSc in Microbiology and MPhil in Botany. Recently, he has introduced many novel and skill-based UG, PG certificate courses at JSS Academy of Health, Education and Research. He is one of the resource persons for content enrichment program for life science courses of NCERT. He is the recipient of special program grant from Howard Hughes Medical Institute, USA, and honored with Macon International 94 Award by AMI and Vision Group on Science and Technology Center Innovative Studies in Education and Engineering Award by Government of Karnataka. He has successfully organized many workshops, conferences, faculty development programs, and some of the important ones are introduction of PGET, establishment of medicinal plant gardens, establishment of central instrumentation facility with funding from DST. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Dr. Ravisha to come at the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction. I don't know how much I really deserve the words that have been spoken by the introducer. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for providing me the opportunity to be a part of this international webinar. I hope I am audible and also I am visible and my screen is sharing properly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants, resource persons, and also the organizing committee members, depending on the time zones you are in. My sincere thanks for the organizing committee, especially Dr. Chandrasekhar and the organizing group of the British Scholars Association, Mangalore chapter, and also the Yenepoya Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital. All the persons associated with the conduct of this webinar. Friends, I consider this as a very good learning experience for me to share some of my experiences and thoughts that have accumulated over a period of time, and also learn from you, the participants and the other resource persons, a little more in the area of herbal drugs. That is the reason why I have accepted this more as a learner than as a speaker. To be precise, I'd like to just establish or send across certain important experience that I have had over a period of time, which I shall be sharing with you. As you all know, herbal drug technology, in fact, this was when I applied for a AICTE project as early as late 90s. Herbal drug technology was the thrust area under the biotechnology program for the All India Council for Technical Education. And that was the time when I got interested to see that, to look for herbal remedies for plant disease management. Thinking that I will be able to look for some pesticide-free systems for disease management strategies. But however, over a period of time, I switched over to the human aspects and the medical microbiology aspects, because as you all know, the funding will be more when you work on humans rather than plants or animals. We know very well the aspects that what we mean by herbal drugs. The word drug comes from the French word drogue, meaning dried herb. Sometimes it is also used as for these narcotic systems also. The other terminologies that are widely used for this are botanicals, pharmaceuticals, dietary supplements, so on and so forth. But what is herbal drug technology all about? When we talk of herbal drug technology, as rightly said by the speakers, earlier speakers, that converting botanical materials into medicines where standardization and quality control, proper integration of modern scientific techniques and traditional knowledge is what we feel it as herbal drug technology. As you know, please underline the aspects here. One is traditional knowledge, the other one is botanical materials and the integration of modern scientific techniques, which is absolutely essential for viable or vibrant herbal drug technology systems. We all know that the traditional knowledge systems, right from the Ayurveda system, as early as before 300 BC to the present day knowledge. Fortunately or unfortunately, over a period of time, we have seen that there has been an upsurge in the areas of herbal drugs because of the societal acceptability and also because of a lot of, I would say, relief that it gives for the patients and also helping us to see that some of the diseases or disorders are prevented. However, most of these were of circumstantial evidences which are proved time immemorial because of the fact that it has very clearly given remedies either for diseases or even preventions. But however, the standardization, the protocol, good manufacturing practices, good laboratory practices are yet to totally creep in 100% in the herbal drug systems that are prevalent in the world over, even though more than nearly almost 80% of the people are, utilizing these herbal remedies or complementary medicine aspects for quite some time, both in developed and developing countries. At this point of time, I must also mention that if you take a look at the prescriptions of the allopathic practitioners, good many of the prescriptions that the present day prescriptions, if you go back or date back to or lead to the herbal molecules that have been developed over a period of time, be it aspirin that we talk, or digitoxin, or various artemisinin, or even we talk of quinine. But this such type of systems of home remedies or herbal drug manufacturing and selling is very common in India, as you can see in this slide. But in spite of that, we have not been able to make a breakthrough in the international market because of a lot of quality issues associated with it and a lot of needed scientific validation systems that are needed. Keeping this in mind, of late, the government of India is pushing through to see that all these guidelines of WHO or various other pharmacopoeias, or whether it is European or Indian systems, have to be adhered to. The WHO has very clearly given these guidelines, wherein we look forward to following it. Probably then the herbal drug technology as a science would thrive very well. At this point of time, I would like to just draw the attention of the participants to the fact that when we talk of herbal remedies, quite often it is believed that it is the herbs that provide us the relief. But I would like to draw the attention of the people or the participants here that in these herbs, what are the phytochemicals or the valuable drugs that are present in them? It is they which is important, which we generally use the terminology as bioactive compounds, or otherwise generally referred to as secondary metabolites. These secondary metabolites, why they are produced in plants, or what is their utility for the plants, why a Texas species has to produce an anti-cancer compound is still an enigma today, even though many of us as plant pathologists say that they are all defensive chemicals for their own survival. However, whatever be the situation, man of late has tried to exploit all these secondary metabolites, whether it are alkaloids, glycosides, saponins, so on and so forth, for the benefit of human well-being over a period of time. One good thing that we know of on the Mother Earth is that the global herbal wealth is fantastic. And as of today, nearly 4 lakh species of vascular plants are known to science, as per the recent Royal Botanical Gardens statement. But unfortunate thing is, nearly almost 2,000 species are discovered every year, but almost all the same number are getting extinct or on the verge of extinction due to overexploitation. One of the reasons could be habitat destruction, but most equally well important reason for this herbal wealth deterioration is the overexploitation by the mankind. In spite of the fact that there are such large number of plant wealth, the number of plants that have been analyzed for phytochemical aspects or for biological activity for the management of diseases or disorders or prevention of diseases or disorders are abysmally low. That is where we find a lot of prospects in the area of biotechnology or bioprospecting with reference to herbal drug technology. As this slide very clearly shows, that the number of plants that are used screened for bioactive compounds are very less. Thus, I say that there are bright prospects for bioprospecting plants for bioactive compounds of therapeutic value leading to herbal drugs. That's where the title of the topic, Prospects for Herbal Drug Technology. Even though bioprospecting, a large number of, until now, not screened plants can be exploited, it is necessary to know how to test these plants, and before testing, how to select these plants for the bioactive potential. Generally, in my lab, I always adopted bioactivity guided assay, even though high throughput screening for various plant systems are quite often done when we are looking for certain specific activity. Because I was interested a little more in antibacterial or antifungal activity, or to some extent anti-diabetic potential also. We thought of looking for how to select these plants. In the literature, we found that there are three basic approaches that can be followed. One is the ethnopharmacological approach, the other one is the phylogenetic approach, and the last one could be random selection approach. You can choose any one of these for bioprospecting. The ethnopharmacological approach is one wherein we take the advantage of traditional medicinal knowledge from the herbal healers, look for what are the plants that they generally use for specific diseases or disorders, and then take those plants for scientific validation to look for what is the phytochemistry of it and what could be the possible bioactive compound that is giving us the relief. That would be a very good way of looking for scientific validation of already known traditional medicinal knowledge, and we'll be adding value to Indian herbal drug industry if we can do this. There is a lot of potential or prospects in this area. A large number of, in fact, when I was talking to the Anthropological Survey of India scientists, I came to know that a very good large number of home remedies or folk remedies are not yet documented in our Indian systems of medicine itself. If we can document it, they were expecting it to be around more than 1 lakh of these systems, home remedies or the herbal drug remedies that are followed, which has not been documented. Probably this will be a very good treasure if we can document it and then go for scientific validation of it in the times to come. The youngsters, the participants here, I'm sure will take up each one of them. If they take up one plant each, probably that will add to the treasury of our Indian herbal drug industry. Another one is the phylogenetic approach, wherein this is a system wherein we choose the closely related plants of the same one which is already known to mankind, which is known to have certain specific bioactive compounds, and the related families are chosen, or related species are chosen for bioprospecting. That will be, again, the success rate will be fairly high you will compare to the random selection approach. The last one is the random selection approach, is that you take any plant on the surface of the earth and then look for the bioactive compound or bioactivity for any of the diseases and disorders. So thus, automatically you find that will be an overall screening system. One of the advantages of ethnopharmacological approach is that there is you may hit upon the right molecule and scientifically validate it, because it is known to possess some phytochemicals which are giving us remedies. It is only through chemical approaches, we are biotechnological approaches, we are trying to explore and identify what is the bioactive principle in it. So the success rate could be very high. It could be as close to 100%. The second one, phylogenetic approach, when we are looking for the biomolecule, it could also be fairly high because they are closely related species, since the genetic makeup is the same one, but for the environmental aspects, there is also, we can think of looking for some of the bioactive principles. The random selection approach, we may hit upon or we may not hit upon anything, leading to sometimes frustration. This is what we have also experienced in the last 3 decades of my research, that sometimes we don't land up with anything. But however, it is worth taking this risk because there is every possibility of we hitting upon a novel molecule not known to science earlier. This simple procedure that is adopted here is I've just shown it in a chart. I would not like to go into the details of it, right from plant collection to checking for the biological activity to the isolation and characterization of the active principle, further checking of their activity and structural elucidation using the modern scientific tools of spectroscopy. That's how it is generally done. We adopt in the simple, non-sophisticated lab systems, I would say, the extraction of the plant material through a Soxhlet system. Maybe at times we need to see that it is concentrated further to see that some of these activities are, the extracts are concentrated further for better activity. The biological activity is undertaken at different levels. Since we are going for bioactivity guided assay, we need to go for the specific activities, and each of these bioactivities, we have very good standard protocols. As you can see in this system, there is a very clear the antifungal activity that you are seeing with the help in a plant extract, wherein the control has not shown any activity, whereas the plant extract has shown very good activity against, this is a microsporium species, a human pathogenic fungus, which is causing problems on the skin and other aspects. So further down, when we look for some activity at the extract level, the separation comes into picture. The methodology adopted is either liquid-liquid partition system or the TLC method or even the column chromatography method that is adopted for the separation or purification of the bioactive principle. And please remember, at every stage, we need to check for the bioactivity because we are looking through for the bioactivity guided assay. Nowadays, HPLC has come in handy because of the availability of instruments, even though it is not available at all labs. However, this gives us a fairly easier method. Lastly, isolation and after the isolation, characterization of the bioactive molecule becomes absolutely important, which will help in identifying what is the molecule that is important. The spectrometric methods are adopted. It could be mass spectrometry, IR spectrometry, or NMR spectrometry, wherein it will help us to very clearly identify what is the structure of the molecule and also test the activity of this isolated and purified molecule again to see whether it has retained the bioactivity after all these processes and procedures. Quite often we see, it has been our experience that during this isolation and characterization or purification, sometimes the activity is lost because there could be some synergistic effects also sometimes. But however, the spectrometric aspects, I was not that confident, and hence I always used to take the help of chemistry people. I thank Dr. Lokanath Rai from the chemistry department who always used to help me out to look for some of these chemistry aspects associated with it. Why I just mentioned all these things is primarily from the point of view of for the young participants as to how to go for scientific validation, even though majority of the other persons may be knowing about this. But if we can take up any one plant and prove scientific validation, it will be a very important contribution to our knowledge of strengthening traditional medicinal knowledge. Of late, as you have seen, as rightly said by one of the speakers, this global pandemic has brought in looking for all sorts of herbal remedies to boost immunity. And we at our own university, at the JSS Academy of Higher Education, we are already on the final leg of starting a program, diploma program on nutraceutical technology, because everybody wants to know what are nutraceuticals or functional foods, so on and so forth. We have already almost framed the syllabus, and it is in the final stages of approval. So, which means to say, the societal acceptance for herbal medicines is fantastic because of various aspects, be it the belief that it has least side effects or no side effects, or other aspects. This has resulted in the tremendous increase in the global herbal medicine market. As you can see, in the last few years, it has been growing at the rate of 8.5% annually, to see that, and the projected one in 2024 is abominably very high traditional herbal medicine market, which means to say that there are large aspects or prospects for herbal drug industry if we can scientifically validate and conform to WHO guidelines or other guidelines to see that we manufacture the herbal drugs with scientific validation, good manufacturing practices, and also good laboratory practices followed right from the procurement of the raw material to the packing of the materials that we think of. For the benefit of the students, I would like to just give some examples of commercially exploited drugs, even though there are a good number of them. Each slide will give you the commercially available drug in the packed form, the biomolecule responsible for it, what is the plant associated with it, and what is the medicinal value. Even though I have a large list of such slides, I have only chosen 2-3 slides to just highlight upon the fact that we need to have the knowledge in this direction. Thanks to the pioneer phytochemists, particularly Joseph and his team, Travanto and Alicia, who isolated the quinine as early as 1820 from the plant cinchona, which gave us the anti-malarial drug, which is still in use today. 1820, and now we are in 2020. Please remember, you can imagine even after 2 centuries, we see that the same thing is being literally utilized. I would like to just draw the attention of the participants of one very important drug, aspirin, which has lead to a herbal drug, herbal system, Salix alba, which is otherwise referred to as the white lie, white willow, only to highlight upon the fact that the timeline that is needed to achieve great success with regard to scientific validation and to see that all the norms of the modern scientific systems of, I would say, testing are followed, it takes a very long period of time. If you go by the timeline of the aspirin that we get today, it dates back to as early as 4400 BC, when Hippocrates gave this willow leaf tea to pregnant women during childbirth. From then onwards, you see a lot of things have happened over a period of time. Right from 1763, I'm not going to read out all the things. Anyway, for the simple reason that I need to save time, I don't want to encroach upon the time of my next speaker. If we take a look at this timeline, you will find various steps have taken place at a gap of 20 to 30 years, breakthrough research, which has given us the present day aspirin that you know of. Even this has won a Nobel Prize for Sir John Wayne and two other Swedish colleagues for discovering the role of aspirin in inhibiting prostaglandin production. This is all because of the fact that they were able to isolate and characterize the bioactive molecule and look for the mode of action and also the bioavailability and looking for various aspects. Today, we see that aspirin is now used for various aspects, including for prevention of heart attacks, strokes, pregnancy complications, colon cancer, diabetes, including dementia. And nowadays, there is a work going on that continuous taking of aspirin also helps in hair growth among baldies. That is also under now clinical trial systems, which speaks of the fact that it takes very long and concentrated effort, focused research to see that we bring herbal medicine into herbal drugs. That is how herbal drug technology plays an important role. I will share just one or two experiences of my own lab, wherein we have done some experiments with regard to human pathogenic systems, particularly human pathogenic fungi. As you all know, we get a large number of antibacterials available in the market, and every 4 or 5 years you find a new antibacterial in the market, whether it is third generation, fourth generation, so on and so forth. But unfortunately, the number of antifungals that are literally flooding into the market are very low compared to various other drug systems. This is because of the fact that not much research has taken place, and probably I thought looking for antifungal agents from herbal systems would be of great value. And that's how we looked for some ethnobotanical survey, and based on that, we screened literally about 200 plants for antifungal activity against human pathogenic fungi, particularly the opportunistic pathogen ones. And then we looked for the bioactivity guided assay. And then I'll just share only one experience of mine where we got some activity which could be gone ahead with. These are some of those important fungi that we know of, whether it is Candida albicans, Trichophyton species, Microsporium species, Aspergillus fumigatus, or Microsporium gypsum, Penicillium. These are all ubiquitous in nature, and automatically they fall or they become opportunistic pathogens when the immune system of the individual is low. And this is more a problem with reference to people who are suffering from diabetes or immunocompromised patients like AIDS suffering HIV patients, and also people who have undergone organ transplantation because some of the immunosuppressors are provided to them. Keeping this in mind, when we looked for so many plants, screened so many plants, we found Callistemon gave us some good activity with the methanol extract. This is otherwise referred to as the bottle brush plant, if I remember right. And you see that these plant extracts, when we went ahead with particularly the methanol extract, gave us some activity, and then we further went ahead with it to see that some of these activities are further checked through bioautography, and also try to separate the bioactive molecule and identify the bioactive molecule. To our surprise, we found we got a pure crystal of 3,4,5-trimethylbenzoic acid, and the chemical structure is this one, which shows that there is a very good activity, and the bioactive principle responsible for this was also identified. We were looking for the literature, and we found that this is already a known molecule that is available in the known to the science world, and hence we were not so much excited as we could see. But however, we could very clearly establish the fact that the traditional medicinal knowledge was scientifically validated. Another important area that we worked on is the antimycobacterial potential to see whether some synergistic effect could be adopted in addition to the typical isoniazid or rifampicin that is generally provided to TB patients, because the TB burden in the country is very high. And we were able to see that because this is working with this is very difficult. I thank Dr. Amit Singh, ICGB New Delhi, who helped us to screen against the MDR resistant, that is multi-drug resistant and Mycobacterium species. But the initial screening we did in our own lab with Mycobacterium pneumatis, wherein it is a non-pathogenic one, and only such of the extracts that were giving us good activity, we took it up further to the higher level of looking for the bioactivity against the pathogenic ones. And we found that some of these plants like Holigarna arnaciana, Schizinium cumini, and Clerodendron inerme gave us some good synergistic activity to see that the inhibitory effect is increased with reference to the aspect. Schizinium cumini being an edible plant, which has an important role as a herbal medicine that could be exploited. And lastly, the Prosopis species, which is widely known as a weed, we were able to isolate prosopine, a juliflor, and also a novel bioactive compound, julifloravizole, and we proved the antifungal activity and also antibacterial activity of this alkaloid fraction, which is very good. And this has been now been standardized for plant pathological applications from our own lab, both for seed treatment, particularly for seed treatment aspects. Another important prospects are avenue for looking for herbal remedies is the fungal endophytes or other bacterial endophytes or microbial endophytes associated with medicinal plants. We can conveniently isolate them and look for the bioactive molecule. Quite possible that what is produced by the plant is also produced by the endophyte that is generally associated with the plants, medicinal plants. And now we are working on the Coleus species, the fungal endophytes. One of my students, that Gracie, is working on the fungal endophytes associated with this plant, and we are on the verge of publication of one. Some of the future important aspects that we can think of, if we can go for tissue culture, probably the clonal systems to get the right variety of the plant, will be able to give a boost to herbal drug industry, or think of metabolic engineering or system biology approach or genetic engineering could be some of those important as areas which can be looked for strengthening our herbal drug technology industry or herbal drug industry through herbal drug technological applications. I'll just spend a few minutes now. I hope I have some time with me. Is it okay? Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I just listed some of these things. I'll go for only, some of these things are very well known. Lack of availability of the raw material in the required quantity and in the required time. Adulteration and misidentification of plants is a major problem in herbal drug industry. Need for check for quality of the raw material, particularly quite often we see that in the aspects of the purchase of the raw material, that is herbal systems, we look for quantity than quality. We look for quantity than quality. Looking for quality in terms of bioactive principle would be a more appropriate way. That's what I personally feel. I hope the other speaker also agrees with me, because we have seen it with our own experience, the agroclimatic conditions under which the plant grows plays a very important role in the presence or absence or in the amount of the bioactive compound that is present in a specific plant. Keeping this in mind, it is necessary that the herbal drug industry people should look for what is the bioactive principle that is available there. For example, if you are taking Curcuma longa, what is the purpose for which it is being taken, and whether the particular whether it is for curcumin or other bioactive principle that they are talking of, for preparing a specific herbal drug, that particular bioactive principle, whether it is in the right quantity or at least in the minimum quantity, this has to be adopted while preparing, while buying the raw materials. This generally is not happening. If you see any herbal drug for that matter, you see that only what is the herbal material that is available is there, but not in the actual the chemistry of it. Because we know any disease can be treated with the dosage and duration concept aspects of chemotherapy. Hence, it is necessary that if we can standardize these things, it will be fantastic. Another major problem that the herbal drug industry is facing is microbial contamination and also mycotoxin contamination of these herbal drug raw materials. Dr. Rajeshwari, one of my students, worked extensively on this, particularly about 7-8 herbal drug raw materials, and we found, including from the market, about the powder forms, paste forms, herbal drug raw materials per se, and also the solution forms, the liquid forms, various aspects from the herbal drug raw material to the market. We screen, and that was a wonderful thesis that came through, which I'll just present one slide on this. The need for scientific validation, which I have already mentioned, and the most important need for the herbal drug manufacturers is the need for a simple, rapid, and accurate technique to analyze the herbal drug raw materials or herbal drug per se for various parameters. This is lacking, and a support from the government in this direction would be of great value, or else the herbal drug manufacturers themselves have to develop some regional laboratories to see that some of these things are met with. I remember even for purchasing milk from the Karnataka Milk Federation, there is a lactometer to look for the quality of the milk, and then only they fix the rate. Similarly, herbal drug industry people should look for the specific aspect, quality aspects that they need, and then look for the payments or fixation of price, rather than only go by quantity in terms of kgs of the herbal drug material. This gives us a very clear indication of the bacterial contaminants that we find in various herbal drug raw materials that we see, even though the maximum permissible limit is only 10 to the power of 7 that is permitted, you see it is quite high compared to some of these herbal drug raw materials. We found that particularly this Tinospora caldifolia gave us very high bacterial and particularly fungal counts. So also you can see the bacterial contamination, particularly here with regard to the herbal medicines that we found out available in the market utilizing these things, and also the paste form of herbal medicines that we find, and you find they are quite high, except Chyawanprash that we found observed. I have not shown the brands and other things specifically, primarily for reasons specific to this one. But one thing that we observe is the liquid form of herbal medicines that we screened were free of bacterial contamination. Probably the reason could be during the process, some boiling or the other processes, there is some the sterilization that is going on, could be one of the reasons. So which means to say that the same things, herbal medicines, if they are in liquid form, could be a better one compared to the paste forms or in the powder forms and the herbal drug raw material per se. The fungal contaminations were also very high, as we can see in these systems, particularly the ergosterol content in the herbal drug raw material is an indication of the fungal contamination of the herbal drug raw materials, which speaks of the fact when we estimated the ergosterol content detected, you can see a large number of herbal drug raw materials, particularly showed the presence of the ergosterol, which means that the samples were contaminated with the fungi. So also the herbal drug products. Raw materials showed high contamination, followed by herbal products. But as I told you, that the liquid forms showed less number of fungal contamination. This is a slide which very clearly shows the mycotoxin contamination. I'm really worried about this because aflatoxin contamination of various herbal drug raw materials, particularly the Acarus calamus or Tanospora cardifolia, Withania somnifera, so on and so forth. We found when we estimated the aflatoxin B1 content in these herbal drug raw material, they were present in more than the permissible limits. In fact, 0 is the most appropriate system, which means to say that instead of giving the herbal remedies, if we use such highly contaminated, fungi contaminated, more so Aspergillus flavus contaminated, fungi contaminated herbal drug materials are used for in the herbal drug industry, it will be detrimental for the herbal drug industry per se, because we could be using, providing the toxins to the patients or the consumers. Some of the other problems that we know of is that the whole herbal drug industry system is the manufacture of herbal drugs is tedious, time-consuming, and cumbersome process. The bioactive molecule that we get is even the high value, we get it in very low volume. Quite often we lose bioactivity when we try to isolate and characterize. That's how when they are given as kashaya or decoctions or in the synergistic mode, there is activity. But to prove the scientific validity of it, it becomes very difficult because they lose activity, and the stability of the compound is a major issue. And the poor success rate of getting into the novel bioactive compound is low. And as I rightly mentioned, the need for regional laboratories with sophisticated instrumentation to help the herbal drug industry would be of great value for the herbal drug industry to grow. I thank I thank the funding agencies which has given me all opportunity to do these experiments. My host institution, University of Mysore and JSS Academy of Higher Education, my PhD students, and the lot of literature that I have got through various other sources, including internet. I thank all of them for their, which has helped me to learn a few things, whatever I have shared with you. I thank the organizers for providing me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the knowledge about the herbal drug technology. Now we'll move on to the second session on the topic tradition and science, health benefits of turmeric. I request Dr. Atulya, Assistant Professor, Department of Ayurveda, to introduce the guest speaker.
Good afternoon. It is my privilege to introduce Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki sir. Dr. Nagabhushan Mulki is a certified nutrition specialist, health coach, scientist, and yoga researcher. He has worked as a scientist for the last 35 years. He was a scientific officer at Tata Memorial Center, Cancer Institute, Bombay, and he had completed his PhD from there. He has worked as a scientist in several top-notch universities in USA. He was the first one to show that some of the spices or its principles, turmeric, ginger, catechu, and betel leaf, prevents genetic damage resulting in cancer formation caused by environmental and dietary chemicals. He is the first one to show that turmeric in diet prevents virus-induced spontaneous mammary tumors in mice. His research was recognized by many, and more than 20 awards by national and international organizations, including Young Scientist Award 1988 from Indian Council for Medical Research, New Delhi, and the New Investigator Award 1989, American College of Nutrition, USA. He has published his research findings in peer-reviewed national and international scientific journals, and also presented more than 150 abstracts in national and first international conference on childhood leukemia at London. The presentation was covered by all major newspaper and news channels around the world, including BBC, CNBC, CBS, and ABC News. And he is also the first one to suggest turmeric as a model for Ayurveda research in the year 2002. And he is also the first one to show the scientific basis of traditional use of turmeric by women in food and religious ceremony. And he also showed the scientific basis of use of turmeric in vaccination. He is also the first one to show by research that in Yogasana, Shavasana is actually Shivasana. And the first one to show the scientific perspective of use of turmeric with or without coconut oil for the prevention of COVID-19 and other viral diseases. And he is also the first one to show by research that Acharya Sushruta, the father of surgery, used face mask while performing surgery to prevent the spread of infection. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Dr. Nagbhushan Mulki to take over with this session. Over to you, sir. Sir, you can go ahead. So over to you, sir. Sir, kindly unmute your mic, sir. Dr. Nagbhushan, sir, kindly unmute your mic, sir. Thank you, sir.
It is not showing my slide.
Sir, your slide is not visible, sir. Sir, you can click on to the present now. Sir.
Sorry, I
Sir,
never used.
It's coming, sir.
Can you hear? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
You can hear?
I can hear now. I can hear, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for giving me an opportunity to share my ideas and my research about turmeric.
Sir. Sir, can you enlarge the slide, sir?
Turmeric in Sanskrit it is called Haridra, in Tulu it is called Manjal, and in Hindi it is called Haldi. So everyone knows what is turmeric because everyone uses in food preparation and also in a religious ceremony. The active principle of turmeric is curcumins. There are 3 types of curcumins. It is present 2 to 5%. That is curcumin 1, 2, and 3. These are the structures. So from time immemorial, turmeric has been traded, used around the world, especially in Bharat and Asia, used for preserving human bodies, mummies around 9400 BCE. During 1800 AD, British banned turmeric, large cultivation of turmeric and ginger to make way for British synthetic drugs. Spice is gold for Europeans, so they found out new sea routes and started exploiting whatever they found new lands. India is the largest producer and consumer of turmeric. That is 80% used to consume before 1984. After my research, that turmeric, they started exporting and everyone wanted to use it. Turmeric is a rhizome. It is used as the main ingredient in food preparation, a natural coloring agent. It is a cheap version of saffron, or it is a substitute for saffron. It is used in curry, pickle, dishes, sweets. Turmeric is considered as auspicious, used on occasions such as religious and marriage ceremony. It is very common that women apply turmeric paste to the body to improve skin color, texture, appearance, and beauty, and to avoid preventable effects of sun rays. Bindi is made up of turmeric. It is and lime is an important part of Hindu culture. But nowadays they use artificial dye which has no health value, whereas bindi has a certain value, health values. So turmeric is used as a common medicine. As you know, everyone is a mini Ayurvedic physician in their home. They use different kinds of spices, common herbs for treating common diseases, which is even now it is common in villages, such as common cold, allergies, virus infection, curds, as an antiseptic for wound, edema, swelling, scorpion bite, etc. I have trouble in.
Sir, you can give presentation below. Presentation is done, sir.
Yeah.
It's visible, sir. It's visible.
So in Ayurveda, Ayurveda is more than 10,000 years old. It is started most probably during Saraswati Civilization. It is confirmed that Saraswati Civilization existed before 8000 BCE. It is a natural traditional healing system of Bharat. Shushruta and Charaka Samhita were written in 3000 years back. So there were 16 major international universities in ancient India. People used to come from around the world to learn different aspects of knowledge, including Ayurveda. Gurukula education system destroyed by foreign invaders, British and nowadays Western cultures. Why I'm telling by Western culture? Because they take fraction of a thing from Ayurveda and project it as they have found it. Because Ayurveda has a most scientific medical system, and they have Western medicine as developed based on these principles. Turmeric has three doshas, that Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Turmeric is taken internally in the form of fresh juice, boiled tea, tincture, arista, asava, tablet, and powder. That is called churna. Arista is a fermented, arista and asava are fermented form that is enhances the absorption of active compounds. It is the most scientific approach developed in 10,000 years back. Turmeric is used alone or in combination with other ingredients such as bile, salt, shilajit, plant fats, oils, resins, gums, metals such as gold, silver, mercury, arsenic, and Panchagavya. Panchagavya is 5 types of cow products like cow urine, cow dung, ghee, curd, etc. Topically, it is applied as a cream, ointment, paste, etc. In Charaka Samhita, these are the things mentioned. A paste made from turmeric, lime, and salt was commonly applied to sprains and inflamed joints. Smoke made by sprinkling turmeric over burnt charcoal used to relieve scorpion stings with a few minutes. Inhaling of fumes of burning turmeric was also used commonly to release copious amount of mucus and provide instant relief from congestion, probably to get rid of viral and bacterial infection. The fumes help in a hysteric condition. A paste made of turmeric alone or with the neem leaves used for ringworm, itching, eczema, parasitic diseases, skin diseases. Remedy for consumed for poison and snake bites, turmeric and black pepper, long pepper and oxbile. It is a remedy for jaundice, turmeric, triphala, neem bark, bala, licorice, cooked in milk and ghee of buffalo. Therapy for residual jaundice, inhalation of therapy, cigars made from turmeric paste, cinnamon, castor plant root, black, red arsenic, deodar, yellow orpiment, and nardus smeared with ghee and smoked. Inhalation of the fumes of turmeric, barley paste with the ghee, another treatment for jaundice. Hemorrhoids files were treated with an ointment of turmeric, hemp leaves, onion, and warm mustard oil. All linseed oil applied externally when the hemorrhoid are painful and protruding. Paste of turmeric is used for viral infections such as smallpox, chickenpox, shingles, ulcers, conjunctivitis, clean blemishes, malaria, etc. Here I have to tell important thing. In Sushruta Samhita, it says that they apply to the body when this infection comes, because skin is the largest organ in human body, and it is directly, turmeric is directly in contact with the skin, and it is absorbed very efficiently. So maximum amount of curcumins are absorbed, and it will be effective in curing the disease. And it is also used, applied to cut placenta after delivery. So I request all Ayurvedic people to learn Sanskrita and study Sushruta and Charaka Samhita without following any English or Kannada or Hindi translation. Because if you read, you will get novel ideas from these Samhitas. It is only fraction of things we left after all looted and burned by invaders. Acharya Maharshi Shrutuda was the father of the surgery, and he used turmeric before, during, and after surgery for surgical wounds. During war wounds, wounded soldiers treat wounds and pain with the turmeric. Father of medicine, Acharya Maharshi Charaka, he prescribed oral preparation included in with the long pepper increases absorption of curcumins. After turmeric became famous, some people claimed that they have found this pepper enhances absorption. They have stolen this idea from Ayurveda. If you go to Chawanprash or many of the preparation, they use piper longum and other piper nigrum and all. Basically, it is a variety of black peppers. It is, as I said, it is used, I already mentioned all this. So before 92, there was less than 200 scientific publications, mostly on anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antifungal, antioxidant, anti-ulcer, anti-arthritis, hepatoprotective. So no research was on other aspects of such as cancer and other things. So in 1982, I joined the Tata Memorial Center as a scientist, and my job was to screen spices for any possible carcinogen and mutagens. Since we did not find anything, they were about to abandon the project. So I thought, since it has given so much importance in religious ceremony and food preparation. It has to do something with it. So I started checking for anti-mutagenic, anti-genotoxic, and anti-carcinogenic activity. In carcinogenicity, there is initiation, promotion, and progression. Initiation is just DNA damage. Promotion is enhancing that damage. Progression is irreversible conversion of cancer cells to malignant cells. So I am the first one to show that turmeric and curcumin inhibits skin cancer, stomach cancer, virus-induced breast cancer, and blood cancer such as leukemia and lymphoma. Before anybody published in 1985, I first got award from Association of Biomedical Scientists, India, and in 1988, ICMR award from ICMR award. In 1988, after seeing my publication, Alan Coney in the US, he published a skin cancer promotion inhibition paper. I published in 1987 stomach cancer inhibition in animal model. That is also feeding animals, mouse 1% of diet. So NIH recently completed phase 1 and 2, 3 clinical trials. Already there were more than 180 clinical trials completed. Total NIH funded grant is 9,664. In 1987, I showed the inhibition of mammary tumor formation. And in 1987, I showed the anti-cancer activity of curcumin in human leukemia. Maybe it is useful for, and also it may be useful for viral infection. Example, human pathogenic virus, flu, influenza, COVID, chikungunya, etc. And any bacterial and viral pandemics. And in same year, I showed that it reverses anti-cancer drug adriamycin resistance leukemia cell growth. And also it inhibits Maillard reaction, that is browning reaction. They are genotoxic and mutagenic. That is formed during roasting, frying, and cooking to keep healthy. So turmeric, by preventing that, it keeps the cells healthy, and it prevents diabetes and many neurodegenerative diseases. In 1980s, probably it is 1987 only, I showed that it prevents formation of nitrosamine and nitrosamide. They are carcinogenic. In commercial meat preservation, they use meat nitrate as a preservative. That is to prevent botulism. Now they are trying to replace with some other things. And also contaminated water and some of the vegetables contains nitrosamines and nitroside. When they go to stomach at acidic pH, they form nitrosamine and nitrosamides, which are carcinogenic and mutagenic. And in 1988, I showed that these are in vitro and in animal models. In 1988, I showed that in smokers and BD and cigarette smokers, that ingestion of 1 gram of turmeric prevents excretion of mutagenic chemicals. So I am not showing any scientific data. So far I mentioned about what I have done in India at Cancer Research Institute. In the USA, in a different laboratory, I have shown that in 94, turmeric curcumin inhibits radiation-induced genetic damage in mouse. Now it is in a clinical use for when they treat for breast cancer and all that, when there is to prevent unwanted reaction, erythema and all that, they prescribe turmeric. And in 1987, I showed that curcumin inhibits Epstein-Barr virus induced human B cell lymphocyte proliferation and inhibits EBV induced lymphoma proliferation. EBV is responsible for B lymphocyte lymphoma in human population and non-Hodgkin lymphoma in organ transplant patient. Some other guy, transplant physician, he has shown that curcumin is useful in preventing organ rejection. And turmeric prevents multiplication of blood cells, that is lymphocytes, by environmental pathogens, viruses. And it prevents immunosuppressive drugs like cyclosporine, which is used for organ transplantation. There is a pathway which has resistance to cyclosporine that is inhibited by curcumin. And it prevents allograft reaction and graft versus host diseases. That is important in tissue, cell and tissue transplantation, such as islet transplantation and liver cell transplantation and bone marrow cell transplantation. This is also important in solid organ transplantation, such as liver, lung, kidney, etc. And curcumin plays an important role in immunity. It modulates secretion of cytokines, pro-inflammatory cytokines. And also I have shown that curcumin enhances vitamin A induced human pro-myelocytic leukemia cell differentiation in cell culture. That can decrease because small amount of vitamin K can be used in clinics. That will decrease the vitamin toxicity in patient. And also curcumin reverses vitamin A induced resistance of differentiation. So this is really good, and this also helps in reducing vitamin A toxicity. So just as I checked, there are 40,506 peer-reviewed publication on curcumin and 13,901 on turmeric. And the list is every day including, because in 2 years back I checked, it was only 20,000. There are more than 300 patents. As I mentioned earlier, there are 9,600 patents. If you calculate a grant is minimum 100,000, it will become $9 billion sent by National Institute of Health for research on turmeric on various aspects of disease prevention. But still they are very reluctant to use that turmeric and curcumin for prevention of COVID-19 pandemic. There is enough data to support that curcumin inhibits several pathogenic viruses. I will come to you later. And it is now marketed as a supplement. It is a billions of dollar business. And but I have not made any patent or marketed this compound. So turmeric and curcumin prevents breast cancer, stomach cancer, oral cancer, colon cancer, esophageal cancer, leukemia, and lymphoma. It is now well established and confirmed by several scientists around the world. So as I said, curcumin has antiviral activity. I showed that it inhibits viral-induced mammary tumors in mouse model and Epstein-Barr virus in cell culture. And in these all cell culture studies, it inhibits papillomavirus, human lymphocytic virus, Ebola, Nora, chikungunya, dengue, Zika, H1N1, Japanese encephalitis, herpes 1 and 2, influenza virus, hepatitis B and C. Surprisingly, in 1962, Central for Disease Control, USA, Atlanta, they have tested this coconut oil component, lauric acid, that inhibits the virus also. I will come to later. There are several molecular docking studies on and silico studies that shows that curcumin is a potential inhibitor of COVID. In an article published paper, I found that curcumin is used as the reference compound. So they have shown that 2.1 microgram per ml blocked C virus in cell culture. So if you calculate, if you take 0.1 gram of turmeric, considering as turmeric as 2 gram per 100 gram, that is 2%, then you are taking 2 milligram of curcumin. So as I mentioned earlier, curcumin inhibits pro-inflammatory cytokines and chemokines, cytokines such as IL-6, IL-beta, IL-17, and TNF-alpha. These all involved in immunosuppressive activity of tumors and during viral and bacterial infection. Then chemokines, IL-8, CX, CL10, etc., etc. So in COVID patient, inflammatory factors are increased. Curcumin is a most potent anti-inflammatory, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agent. Beauty about turmeric is even if you take in large quantity, it does not cause stomach ulcers. Whereas if you take aspirin and other synthetic anti-inflammatories, they cause ulcer and bleeding and other complications. That is why they don't use aspirin, ibuprofen, or not much for viral and bacterial infection. So in a COVID patient who are admitted to hospital, who are in the ICU, they have elevated levels of all these pro-inflammatory cytokines and chemokines. So conclusion of these is that curcumin may block virus attachment to cell membrane, virus translocation to the cell, virus replication, immunomodulation by blocking immunosuppressive cytokines, decreasing fever, fatigue, cough, spreading of virus, cytokine storm in host. In advanced state of COVID patients, those who are in ICU and with the machine breathing, they have abnormally high amount of secretion of IL-6 or flow inflammatory cytokine. That is called cytokine burst. That causes multiple organ failure and respiratory distress, leading to death. This is my opinion. Curcumin can block virus vaccine-induced adverse effect, improve virus efficacy of vaccine. They have already shown that ashwagandha in clinical trial, ashwagandha enhances the vaccine effect. Curcumin boost immunity by inactivating viruses. So when the dead viruses are present in bloodstream and their debris, they act as a natural immunization methodology. So already I discussed. So these are the clinical studies done which shows benefits of curcumin, such as atherosclerosis, hyperlipidemia, thromboembolism, myocardial infarction, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, HIV, cancer, multiple types of cancer and cure, drug resistance, cancer drug resistance, osteoarthritis, irritable bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, psoriasis, fibrosis, radiation damage, UV damage, and UV cause melanoma in white people. There are, as I mentioned earlier, there are several clinical trials. In AIDS, it did not show the expected result. Maybe they have not used in the right way. In Ayurveda, they don't use any single agent. They use a multiple agent so that it will enhance the effect as well as it will decrease the toxicity of individual ingredients. So I am not going to read all these. Those who are interested, they can contact me. So as I mentioned, curcumin can decrease the viral load, increase the immunity, and dead virus and their debris can induce the natural immunization, and it can prevent damage to host organs. In Ayurveda, there is called rasayana that boosts immunity. But that induce immunity, but keep the check of infection. Turmeric is one of the rasayana. Initially, what happens when a foreign object comes in touch with the lymphocytes, such as these pathogens, the lymphocytes start proliferating. Sometimes it becomes so much, then the cells are dysfunctional. So it is important to know that curcumin diminishes the profound multiplication of these lymphocytes and make it healthy and active. It is my finding. So there are several receptor and partners in COVID infection. Curcumin, that is angiotensin converting enzyme 2, is one of the receptor for COVID-19. But curcumin increases this receptor and protect cardiovascular system. So now the scientific conclusion that it is not just ACE2 is important for infection. There are ACE2 soluble receptors. They may play a role in preventing virus infection. But nobody knows what type of ACE2 is increased with the curcumin. So there are other 50 diseases that work with the ACE2. So molecular docking studies of curcumin showed that it inhibits novel dipeptide peptidases. Curcumin inhibits DPP4 this is another peptidase in diabetes. That is in experimental model they already shown. Curcumin is so they were talking about hydrochloroquine as an anti-inflammatory. So curcumin is a better anti-inflammatory than that drug, which has no toxic effect. This is a study published in Lancet. There is no correlation between ACE2 and virus infection. So this is a big question for Westerners, bioavailability of curcumin. So oral ingestion of curcumin is low bioavailability. That is measured in blood circulation. Local or topical application, direct exposure, pharmacologically active concentration is achieved. That is what is our tradition and Ayurveda says, such as eyes, skin, nasal, air passages, oral, mucosa, throat, esophagus, stomach, and colorectal tissue. So they have to think out of the box and use, as mentioned in our traditional medicine, Ayurveda and tradition. If they try to apply whole body and see whether they will achieve the results. Now, I will go briefly. Why virgin coconut oil? In Hindu Dharma, during puja, homa, havana, and marriage ceremonies, it is used. It is as a auspicious thing, and also during war and all that they use this. In Mangalore, coastal area, plenty of coconut and coconut oil is used. Problem with these studies conducted earlier, they used refined oil, which is refined coconut oil, which is extracted at high temperature. Whereas in our traditional way, it is extracted below 150 degree, and it is now they call it as virgin coconut oil. There is nothing called virgin or this. It is a naturally a traditional way of extracting coconut oil. So when they do all this commercial extraction, the good quality of coconut oil is lost. So nowadays they are telling virgin coconut oil is good for health, but still they have doubt about it. But our tradition says that it is good for human health. It is good for very good for skin diseases. So main ingredient in is a lauric acid, which is a medium chain fatty acid. It acts as a small chain and a long chain fatty acid. It is present at almost 50%. So why I'm talking about, you will come to know. We call lubricates airway passage, moisturizers, clean sinuses and channels as a source of interlocal energy to cell. I'm not going to go through all these. Basically, it inhibits many types of viruses. As I said, CDC has tested in 1962, and they showed 14 varieties of viruses are killed by this lauric acid. And it is done by increasing the triacyl glycerol in cell surface that makes the virus to not attach to the cell. And also it dissolves phospholipid outer layer of the COVID viruses. And virgin coconut oil has polyphenols, that is 13.4 milligram per 100 gram of oil. That is ferulic acid, rosmarinic acid, gallic acid, quercetin, methyl catechin, quercetin, etc. So it is not a good idea to separate individual components and test, because this act synergistically act together. Most of the compounds have some antiviral activity. When they are together and with the oil media, they can act better. These are the amounts of lauric acid. You can see 6.2% in human breast milk. In cow milk, it is 2.9%. That is why Chinese news, there were Chinese were telling drinking milk prevents COVID-19. These are some other sources of lauric acid in large amounts. So caprylic acid, one of the component that is 7%, it is used to get rid of this virus during vaccine preparation. So nasal route is delivery of drugs to brain. This idea was mentioned in Ayurveda 10,000 years back. So it is more scientific, and still it is usable. That is called nasya. You can see how it is nose channel is connected to brain, and it is a direct delivery of drugs to the brain, which cannot be entered to the brain through oral route or intravenous route. So what I did, so I combined Ayurvedic method and scientific research together and suggested how to use turmeric with the coconut oil to prevent viral and bacterial pandemic, including COVID, all other kinds of viruses. So all the virus and bacteria, their main entry is through nose and touching those nose we breathe and by touching. So local application of curcumin and turmeric should be very effective in decreasing inflammation. Nasya is a method of administration of herbal medicated oil through the nose. Now they are used in spas and other things. They claim they have found it, but actually it is from Ayurveda. In Ayurveda also, it in Panchakarma, they use to clean the airway and balance the natural breathing and three doshas. It increases mucosal immunity to the virus. So I made a Bhushan method of washing hand. So put few drops of coconut oil, rub well to both sides of the hand, in between fingers for 20 seconds or more. Then wash the hand with the soap, hot water for 20 seconds as recommended. Apply hand lotion or cream containing coconut oil or coconut milk. So there is no chance of virus reattaching to the hand surface. It is better than just washing hand with the soap. So I forgot to mention there are clinical studies which shows that small amount of soap is used, 0.025% is put in the drinking milk and as well as human breast milk for clinical use as well as common use. And put a few drops of virgin coconut, that is traditional coconut oil, with the help of a filler or filler drops into both the nostrils. This can be done every day. There is no harm in to the human beings. And lie down for 5 minutes and take half teaspoon of oil to empty stomach, eat and drink, and after half an hour. So this is called Nashya, Ayurvedic method, traditional method in modern way. Then another way, you can put turmeric, small amount. It does not matter how much you put because there is only certain amount is dissolved, and keep overnight to allow particulate matter to settle and curcumin to dissolve, and put the supernatant to both the nostril and keep for half an hour. And you can use ghee, sesame oil also, and take dhup, that turmeric and ghee heated on charcoal or tawa. As I mentioned earlier, Shrutata and Charaka, they mentioned all this methodology for improving congestion and curing certain other diseases with the turmeric. And boil turmeric powder or fresh and add freshly ground black pepper, cloves, cinnamon in filtered water. Why filtered water? Nowadays, tap water contains a lot of chlorine that can destroy certain volatiles in the fresh turmeric root. And fresh ginger juice. Certain terpenes in fresh ginger root is antiviral, and it enhances the absorption of curcumins. Do not boil if you are using turmeric, fresh turmeric and fresh ginger juice. Allow to cool, then add coconut oil, milk, and raw honey mix. This is very important. Now commercial honey is processed. They heat for 150 degree for 24 hours and filter and remove all the pollens. In Ayurveda, they have clearly said you cannot heat or boil honey. So it is, if you boil, it is a poison to the human body. And you can add cardamom and take orally and take food after half an hour. Milk has this whey protein. They have scientifically shown that it enhances absorption of curcumin as well as other phytochemicals. That is the genius work of Ayurveda. They say if you take ashwagandha, take with milk, and certain things with certain other combination with the milk and this. So it is so scientific, and it is now proved that it is important. And boiling turmeric, it is another genius of our Maharshis. Now they say scientifically they have shown that if you heat turmeric or curcumin between 70 to 80 degrees for 10 minutes, it increases the solubility of curcumin in water by 12-fold without losing the molecular integrity and biological activity. Another genius of our Maharshis, Ayurvedic physicians, that they prepared fermented asava and arista that contains alcohol in small quantity, and also it releases active molecules from cell that are attached to cell membranes. This is also scientifically proved. There is a lot of literature. They have tested in bread, that, this, and all that, everything. So we cannot say Ayurveda is not scientific. We lost all this knowledge because foreign invaders destroyed most of the important manuscripts, and some went to China, Tibet. They claimed it is their own finding and their traditional Chinese medicine. And even during that time, some of the learned Ayurvedic physicians, they used to go to China. Once they go to China, Chinese people, they change their name to the Chinese. So we don't know who has gone and all that. For example, Bodhisattva, he went and taught yoga. So they claim they have their own martial art, Korean, Japanese, that, this, and all that. Actually, Kalari Payatu, that is a original this martial art. There are different variety in South India. That is the original martial art, which went to all over the world. That I said, no, that mummy preservation, some 700,000 BC, that is in Peru. There is a scientific study where they have shown that from India, people have migrated towards different parts of the world, even including Peru. They have found Homakunda and other things in Peru. So there is no Aryan invasion or superiority of Arya, nothing. It is all a fabricated thing by these intellectuals, those who hate India. Then another thing, milk. Desi cow has better milk than other milk. That is Indian native breeds. They have Casein A1 type, whereas others have A2. Maybe I am reversed. See, people talk about using skim milk, low-fat milk, whole milk because of cardiovascular disease, that, this, and all that. But this is a scientific study. Look at the polysaturated amino, these fatty acids. They are lowest in skim milk and low in low-fat milk, but highest in whole milk. That is 10 times more than other milks. So if you want to drink milk, dilute whole milk and drink it. At least you will get enough good things. These are what I was telling. See, A to beta casein. It is a form of casein present in native bred cows, whereas in other cows, A1 beta casein, they are difficult to digest, and they cause a type 1 diabetes, insulin resistance, bloating, inflammation, etc. Whereas these native breed milks and goat, sheep, and buffalo milk, they are good. They are easy to digest. They don't cause inflammation and other diseases. So in Australia and New Zealand, there's their supply for A to beta and only supply A to beta containing milk, whereas in US they don't care. They supply other form of milk. That is why there was so much importance in Ayurveda for milk, ghee, etc. So everyone is now talking about face mask. Father of surgery, Acharya Shrishtuta, he was very meticulous about cleanliness during surgery and all that. He used a face mask, but in 8,000 years BCE. If you see in the internet, they show people are screaming, holding hands, jumping, all that kind of pictures of Shushruta surgery. It is all made by a Western artists. They don't know anything about Ayurveda or what is surgery. So I request those who are artists among audience and Ayurvedic physicians, they can generate a picture which is true to the nature of great Acharya Maharshi Shrishtuta and Father and Acharya Maharshi Charaka. So it is you can do it at home. You don't have to put too many things. Just boil turmeric powder and dip in, and you can put lemon, which has terpenes, which kill the virus, and lemon that acid, citric acid, that is inhibits viral infection. Actually, it is in this face mask marketed.
Sir,
You can use different kinds of mask. In conclusion, there are vaccine now, but when I prepared this presentation, there was no vaccine, but there is no specific drugs for prevention. So hand washing and face mask is the only way. So traditional medicine has so many advantages. So curcumin is the best candidate for prevention of cancer. So it is for suing thing. We always put this statement saying that always consult your healthcare professionals, physicians, follow fellow rulers, follow rules, and etc. etc. I thank everyone, and everyone is a mini physician. They should achieve the greatness of Charaka and Shushruta, not just praising Ayurveda is great, just doing some silly experiment. It does not help. Look at the Chinese. They have more than a million publication on traditional medicine. They don't use extract or anything. They use the real whatever method they have used. Finally, if they find something effective, they will try to find the active compound. That is how they found Artemisia, which got Nobel Prize. That is for malaria. So I have too many things to talk. It is almost time to me go stop. I thank Professor Dr. Chandrasekhar putting me in contact with this great university. I hope to present more and more to the people and get the essence of Ayurveda to all the people around the true essence of the Ayurveda to all the people. Do research and be successful. Don't use pesticides like paraben and other things or methyl benzoate and all that. Ayurveda preparation has its own merit in preserving the integrity of the preparation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank all the administrators and everyone.
Thank you, sir, for spending your valuable time and enriched us with your knowledge in turmeric. Dear participants, feedback form will be sent to your respective mail IDs. E-certificate will be provided after submitting the feedback form. Here we came to the end of the webinar. I thank one and all for active participation. Thank you.
Yeah, I request you next time keep the presentations in time, because here it is a night, so many people waited and they just went out. It is not right. If it is scientific, you have to do it in the right time. 3:30, 3 means 3 o'clock only, sharp.
Sir,
You don't have to wait anybody. If one person is there, you have to start it.
Yes.
I am not criticizing anybody or anyone. It is the right thing to do and it is good for everyone. Now only 33 participants are there. When it was started, almost 100. If there is a recording, please send me. Thanks.